Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I'm talking about 2019 Week 19 new comics. The new comics I picked up today, Wednesday, May 8th, 2019. So, I have not read any of these issues yet, but I will talk a little bit about them if I am caught up if I am not caught up. Also, this came out last week, but my shipment of it got delayed or something, so they had to send it again. But Supergirl, Killers of Krypton. I guess this is Killers of Krypton Volume 1. And this contains issues number 21 through 26 of the current run of Supergirl. So this is coming out of the events of Man of Steel. I am not quite caught up. To be able to read this one, I need to read Volume 4, Plain Sight, which is issues 15 through 20 before I can get to this one. But they did take a break, so it is kind of like a new... it is like a new run of the comic because they took I think like 6 months off or something like that. It was about the same time that they took off for Superman, but they didn't restart the numbering like they did for Superman. Yeah, so I am looking forward to that. I really need to watch Supergirl, get caught up in that, but I am like so far behind now. This last weekend, actually this is probably the best place to talk about this instead of in the wrestling episode. I went to Arctic Comic Con, and I talked about that trip coming up last week, and now that trip has happened, and this was in Anchorage, Alaska. The flights out there weren't as terrible as I thought they were going to be. It was just like a 3-hour flight and a 3.5-hour flight, more or less. And yeah, I think on the way back, I spent more time just waiting for my second flight than either of the other two, either of the actual flights. Yeah, I'd never been to Alaska before. Anchorage was really cool. Like just seeing the mountains there and all that. It didn't seem very active, but I guess this Comic-Con happened right before the tourist season begins. As I'm recording this, the tourists are flocking there for all the tours and seeing the salmon come up the rivers and all that type of stuff. And I guess it gets really crazy, and I just missed it, which I feel like is a pretty good thing because I didn't have to deal with huge, massive crowds. But also maybe not such a good thing because there weren't huge, massive crowds at the convention. There were a lot of people there, but it wasn't just packed to the brim like some of them that I have attended before. This is only my second one actually selling as a vendor. But I did have a lot of fun. I sold a bit more than I did at my first convention at the Permian Basin Comic-Con X. So by that metric, I'd say I'm headed in the right direction, and I was very happy with how things turned out. And because I really didn't have any expectations at all for this, because I knew there's no way I was going to sell enough to cover the entire cost of the trip, let alone make a profit. But I looked at it as just a really cool opportunity to go to Alaska and have a lot of fun. And I did. It was great. I got to go to Humpy's. That was my main goal. Was to and it was just a block away from both. It was basically my hotel, and then a block south was Humpy's, and a block south from there was the convention center. So it was pretty perfect. I only went there once. I went there on Sunday night after the show was all done, and I got a nice new shirt. And then, of course, I wore the shirt on the way home. I traveled like 3,000 miles in the shirt, didn't get anything on it, no food, nothing. But then I get a nosebleed as soon as I get home. Literally within minutes of getting home, I blew my nose and it starts bleeding. I got a big blood splotch on this brand new shirt, but I got some shout on it right away. This show is sponsored by Shout Stain Sticks. I don't know what Shout. It was a bottle. I sprayed on there. Got it washed, and the blood stain's gone. It's good. We're good to go. My nose is currently not bleeding, so that's nice. It would be really bad if it still was, because that was approximately 22 hours ago that happened. But anyway, Humpies is really cool. There was a live band playing. They were all right. They were playing covers of classic rock type stuff. I don't know what their names were or whatever. But I tried I think it was Bill's Style or Bill's Way or Bob's Way. I should have taken a picture of the menu or something. I had a halibut burger, which it's weird that they call it a burger. Just call it a sandwich, because if it's not ground meat texture type thing, whether it be turkey burger or regular burger or veggie burger, if it's not a patty, then I don't think it should be considered a burger. It's just a sandwich. It's like it's like a cut. If it's a cut of meat between two pieces of bread, that's a sandwich. If it's ground meat or ground meat substitute, then that, I think, would be a burger, unless it's not solidified into a patty, in which case that there's a sloppy Joe. So let's get more stingy with our burger definitions, please. Please. Don't call fish sandwich a burger. That's a travesty, I think. I don't know, but they eat a lot of fish there, so I won't be too hard on. I'll end my rant about it there. I got to go to Humpies. That was really good. I went to this restaurant called Orso, and they said the special is you can start out with a side of crab leg, and I said, oh well, yeah, let's go for it. I didn't even ask how much it costs, and I should have, probably, because it cost more than everything else that I got during that meal, and it was just one crab leg. Just one crab leg. It was like $30 for that one crab leg. That's crazy. But I did not think this is where going out on a limb, going out on a crustacean limb, can get one in trouble, because I have never had. I've had crab meat and lobster meat before, but I've never had it like where you have to get it out of the exoskeleton of that animal. And saying it like that is making me not feel so good about having eaten it. But it's just this one crab leg. It's a gigantic crab leg. Like, wow, it was big. Like 12-inch at least. 12 inches of at least of leg, and of tubes of meat inside of whatever. It sounds so gross. It was kind of gross. I mean, it tasted all right. It tasted about what I expected it to be. But I didn't want to be. I could have easily just asked the waiter, like, "Hey, I've never actually had crab leg before, or any crustaceans. How does this work?" I did a quick search on YouTube, which did not help very much, because they did not use the same tools that they provided me. He brought over this plate of tools. There was like some I don't even know what they're called. There's like a cracker looking thing, like like pliers to crack open the thing, and then there is some like curved shears that I assumed was that you used to cut open the shell, because it kind of gets in at a good angle, so that it's just cutting the shell. So I assume that's how you use it. Like I roughly followed the guidelines that I found in the YouTube video, and also I then resorted to a text step by step, which also wasn't that useful, because it was explaining things I've never seen done, and I was just, okay, I guess that's this is how that's describing it to be done. I don't know. So I don't know. I can't really describe how I did it, but I used the plier things to to crunch it up a little bit. I guess I was loosening up the meat out of the off of the shell inside of it. Maybe, I don't know. I probably was doing it completely wrong. And I all the time, the entire time, I was one of 2 tables on the entire floor, and I was just hoping, like, while I was doing this stuff, that my waiter wouldn't come back out and be like, "What are you doing? You stupid idiot! You're doing this all wrong." But I got away with it. I got it done quick, and I did enjoy it as much as I could enjoy a completely different type of food that I've never eaten before. But yeah, it was interesting, and I think I was able to eat it because I was so wrapped up in, like, how I got to get this done. I've got to do it before the waiter comes back out and sees me doing it completely wrong, probably. So I had that mentality as opposed to, I'm about to eat a giant bug leg, a sea bug. So yeah, I would not ever get a crab leg or multiple crab legs or the body of the crab. I don't even want to imagine that, eating that part of it. I would not do any of that ever again. I don't think. Nope. Once is absolutely enough. And after I had eaten that, I said to myself, okay, that's it for the seafood. Like, people are going to ask, I went to Anchorage, did I have some seafood? And now I can say, yes, I did. I had a crab leg, and it was kind of gross. I'm done. I don't need to have any more this entire weekend. But then I had that halibut burger because I was like, oh yeah, I should try some actual fish so that I have more not plausible deniability, but I can actually say that I had legitimate, like, Alaska food as opposed to just getting hamburgers that are made from cows that are shipped in from places I go to anyway already. So yeah, those 2 restaurants were pretty good. I don't think I had dessert. I lied. I totally lied. I said, oh, I'm staying right across the street, so I'll probably come back here for dinner every night or something like that. I may have been a little bit overzealous about selling. I think this was before I got the check, though. So I was operating under the assumption that it would not be super expensive to eat there every night. But I did add enough to the tip that I was not under tipping to get to this amount. I increased my tip so that it would add up to $69. I thought that was pretty fun. Going back to my comic book shop receipts total last week. So I hope I did not draw a winky face. I wish I would have. That would have been fun. Like, here's this guy spending this much money on a solo meal in Alaska, and he signs the check for $69 with a winky face. How stupid would that be? So I didn't do that, so it wasn't stupid, but I thought about it. I absolutely thought about it. This show is so dumb. Everything I do is so dumb. Other things that I did, I went to the Hard Rock the second night, or the Saturday night. They had a comedy show, and the headliner is very, very funny. He had these amazing stories. Almost all of it had to do with Alaska because he spends half of his time in Alaska as a guide. His name is Monte Montepare. That's Monte space Montepare. Go look him up. It's that as one word is his handle on Instagram. I follow him on there. So search in my followers or whatever who I follow at JKIRE if you have trouble spelling what I just spelled out for you. But he is really, really funny, and I think more people should check him out. The rest of the year he's in Los Angeles. So super cool guy. And I guess he's originally from Colorado, so that's awesome. Not in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado. I believe he's from Breckenridge, so he's Very much a nature fella, unlike me. Very, very unlike me. Some other fun things I did. I had some ice cream at Wild Scoops, which is amazing. I had ice cream nachos. Ice cream nachos. They have like chips made out of waffle cone, and like splayed out like you would with nacho chip with tortilla chips. And they have 3 scoops of ice cream on there, and like whipped cream, caramel, or fudge, whichever one you want. You can also have sprinkles or chipotle nuts. I don't know what chipotle nuts are. Is that what chipotle actually is? Is it a type of nut, or are they nuts that are seasoned in chipotle? I don't know. I didn't ask. They were very busy. I don't want to ask too many questions and hold up the line. I just said nacho chips, ice cream nachos, and then a scoop of each of these 3 types of ice cream. One of them was honey something or other. Another one was some type of chocolate something. And then the other one was another delicious thing. I did not take note of any of these things, but go there because they make completely different ice cream like all the time. They make small batches of ice cream, and their whole menu is like a chalkboard, so they just change it up all the time. I imagine I only went there once because unfortunately they were closed. I went there on Sunday after I went to Humpies, and but they're closed on Mondays. So I'm really glad that I went on Sunday. Otherwise, I would not have been able to go. Right next door to there is a place called Fat Ptarmigan, and they have pizzas. And I heard that the pizza's really good, except the pizza seemed like a kind of a lot. And I wish I had gotten the pizza instead of what I did get, because I just got it was like an okay Italian sub sandwich type of thing. It wasn't that good. But I've heard the pizza is amazing, so I really should have gotten the pizza. Why didn't I get the pizza? Crazy, man. And I got the garlic cheese bread. That also wasn't very good. So this restaurant, I imagine, is actually very good when you go to get the thing that you should be getting there, because it's a pizza place. So I recommend it to go and check out the pizza and let me know how good the pizza is. And next time that I go, I do want to go out there again next year, and however, whenever I can. If I'm able to go out there to do this Comic-Con again, even if I don't sell very much at the actual comic convention, excuse to go to Alaska again, I'm all for it, because I got to try so many other things. I also went to the Alaska Zoo. It's a very small zoo, especially compared to the Omaha Zoo I went to last week. But there's some really cool animals. They've got a couple of tigers. They've got a bunch of bears, polar bears, brown bears, black bears. I did not see any of the black bears. They're sleeping. It's kind of a cold and rainy day. There are coyotes. They were very active. I got some great pictures and video of them. And the river otters were awesome. I have so many pictures of them. I love those guys. Lots of birds. There's a golden eagle. There are a couple of bald eagles. They did not have... I'm kind of surprised they didn't have any penguins. I guess that kind of makes sense. They didn't have like a whole... They didn't have any like indoor areas, like climate controlled places. It was all these outdoor things, outdoor environments, habitats. So they're like just at the mercy of whatever the weather in Anchorage is. So it was mostly colder weather animals, but not like super, super cold weather animals like the penguins would be. That they would have to be indoors where it's kept very, very cold. I imagine that's probably why. And it's probably like way more expensive to, because this seemed like a pretty low cost operation type of place. I think. I don't know. I don't want to pass. I don't mean that in a judgmental way or anything like that. I just mean that I would imagine that penguins are really expensive to take care of because of like the AC and all of that, and just the sheer number of fish that they eat. Not that the other animals eat a lot too. But yeah, it was pretty cool. My driver, when he picked me up from the airport, he said, "Oh, here's what I do is I do these tours all the way out to the wildlife refuge and blah blah blah, and it usually ends up being like $250 for just the rides. And I'm like, that is not. He's like, here's what you do. You get a group of 5 or 6 people. I'm like, you just picked me up from the airport. I am obviously one person. I don't know. Is there something about me that says I know 5 or 6 other people who are out here, that I'm meeting people out here? I just told you I'm coming to, well, I guess maybe I could know more people, but the trip would make a lot more sense if there were more people that were there with me, if I made some friends to do that. But it was like a lot of locals in the convention, and I don't think there are a lot of people that were there in a tourist capacity, like I was. But I think next time I'm not going to do that Uber Lyft tour madness that he was talking about. He was like, I go offline. We get up there, I go offline. Then when we're ready to go, I go back online. We go back to the other thing. We're like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. That's a lot. That's kind of a lot. And I'm not ready for that level of commitment. So then next time, because this convention happens before the big tourist season happens, it seems like I might be able to get a pretty solid deal on a rental car, and just do that. Drive myself out there, and if anybody else ends up going with me to help run the booth and all of that. So we'll see how that goes next time, if that happens. The actual convention was really cool. I met some cool people. Most notably, this is why I went off on this tangent, that I need to watch Supergirl, get caught up on it, because I met Dean Cain, got my picture with him, and talked to him a little bit about Supergirl. I told him it's so cool that he plays Supergirl's dad. And I got a little bit tongue-tied. I almost said Supergirl's mom. Like, that would have been stupid if I had said that. But I did not. He plays Supergirl's dad, and that's awesome. And he said, yeah, we love it. There's a bunch of other people who've come back from other shows too, to do cameos and all of that, and they all have a great time. And that was really, really cool to hear. And I got some great pictures with him using an actual camera. Whoever it was that took the picture was like, oh, this is a real camera. That's crazy. Because most people just have their cell phones. So yeah, it was super fun. I didn't get to go around and see the other booths really. I looked around after I got set up Saturday morning, but I didn't go and buy anything at any other booths, which is, I don't know. Next time, I think. Maybe. Well, that was the whole thing, was that my suitcase was like 4 pounds overweight. It was going to cost another $100 for the overweight bag for just 4 pounds. That's crazy. It would have been cheaper if I just had a second bag that I could check with that stuff, with some stuff in it. So that's how I'm going to approach it from now on for the conventions that I fly, is that it's just the couple of things that are big that have to be in the big suitcase. And otherwise just keep it under 50 pounds, and then have a second smaller suitcase that's just dense as hell. So it's like right under 50 pounds, but it's in a cube, a small cube of wood panels and paintings and all that, just solid block together. And then it's on Southwest, and then both of those, no problem, no extra charge for all that. So yeah, I threw away some of the grid panels, and since then I figured out kind of a better display that I don't need as many grid panels anyway. So that'll be nice, I think, and it'll save on the weight for the flights out to places. But go to demonjackal.com and follow at the Demon Jackal. You can see some pictures of my setup and all of that, and some of the art that I created over the weekend on Instagram. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to Ontario Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario, California, in just a week and a half. It's 10 days away from when I'm recording this. In 10 days, I'll be at that convention, Less than 10 days now because it's like night. That would be the night. I will have finished a day of it already or something. I don't know. That information for all of that is on demonjackal.com. Okay, that was a huge talking about this convention, but it is comic book related, right? Very comic book related. At some point, I do want to get started on actual comic, whether it's based on Demon Jackal or not. The original idea that eventually turned into the Demon Jackal was a comic book story. But I won't get into that. So that when, if it ever actually does happen, it's a nice surprise. They can all check it out. Okay, so let's talk about these new comics that I picked up. Star Wars Adventures number 21. We've got Luke and Han on the cover there. So that's going to be fun. Unnatural issue number 9. I think I read issue number 8 already. But we've got a very erotic cover here with our two main characters in speaking of 69, there we go, that type of position, although it doesn't look like they're having fun on that cover. It looks kind of painful there, like some problems are happening. Red Sonja and Vampirella meet Betty and Veronica, issue number 1. We've got them in cheerleader gear on the cover for this one, and I have no idea what to expect from this book, but if it's like the other whoever meets Betty and Veronica stories that I've read lately, and Archie, was it Batman 69? Batman 66, not Batman 69. Batman 66 meets Archie. If it's anything like that, then it should be a lot of fun. Or we had Betty and Veronica meet Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. That was super fun too. The Storyteller, Tale 2 of 4. The Storyteller Sirens. I still haven't read the first one, but I do like this cover. It looks like we're in the mountains. And with a lady playing with figures, or are they actual people? I don't know. I'll have to read that to find out. But all these Jim Henson stories, the Storyteller and the Dark Crystal stuff have been really cool. Betty and Veronica, issue number 5 of 5. I think the graduation day is here, it says on the cover. And maybe we see what they've decided to do for their college, where they're attending college. We have Archie, issue number 704. We've got all the drama still going on, I believe, with Archie dating Sabrina, that secret relationship. But Sabrina is not on this cover. That has me a little bit concerned. Maybe that's ending sooner than I thought. Wonder Woman, issue number 70. I had talked about how I was just getting the previous issue, but this next issue, this cover is so cool. This is worthy of being hung on the wall with all these hearts. She's being struck by Cupid's arrow, it looks like. But this artwork is super cool. What is this? This is the variant cover by Jenny Frison. Frison? Frison. Such an awesome cover. The use of colors, fantastic. That contrast between like that dark turquoise and the red of the hearts in her uniform, super cool. I have no idea what's going on in the story with those. Batman the Outsiders, issue number 1. I am super excited for this, partly because I have the Batman the Outsiders logo tattooed on my leg. So I've been really looking forward to this new run of Batman and the Outsiders. Did they change this? Did those guys pull a fast one? The Batman Who Laughs, I could have sworn, was a 6-issue miniseries. The cover of this one says 5 of a 7-issue miniseries. Bamboozled. Been tricked. but that's more of some good stuff. So I'm okay with it. Then we've got Captain Marvel issue number 5, Wasteland Showdown. This one should be pretty cool. The logo integrated into that's really cool that they did that. Because you have her touching down, but she's right next to a pool of water, so you have the flares of her coming down reflected, creating her starburst logo. Super clever. Way to go. Cover artist. Nice job. Speaking of Captain Marvel, I did see. Oh, I just tore the cover. God dang it. Trying to push it down further into the thing, and I just tore the cover. I saw Avengers Endgame for a third time earlier today, and I still love it. It's pretty awesome. It's very awesome, and I recommend seeing it. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it. If you haven't seen all the movies leading up to it, that might be a problem, but do what you can about it. And go see this movie. It's really good. Catwoman issue number 11. This cover is pretty cool. Got her hissing at the camera in the dark alley in the rain. A bit of the skin on her wrist showing. That would be a problem. If she had a tattoo on her wrist, she'd be easily identified. But she doesn't, so I think it's all right. Except that she could be identified as somebody who doesn't have a tattoo on her right wrist. I don't know. Justice League Odyssey issue number 9. Darkness Falls on the Ghost Sector. Lots of stuff going on the cover here. I am, like I've said, I'm still in the whatever it's called, the crossover with Wonder Woman. I'm still like right in the last couple of issues of that. I need to just go and read those so I can get caught up. Justice League Odyssey. Once I get past that hurdle, it's only Justice League Odyssey that I have to read to get caught up. It's just that one stumbling block. Shazam issue number 5, Into the Game Lands, where a low score will kill you. Oh, looks like we've got some cool Ready Player One type action here. I'm looking forward to that. Got race cars on the cover. He's waving the checkered flag. Because they're getting the green light. They're ready to go. 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 Supergirl issue number 30. Speaking of more Supergirl, we've got her on the cover. I've got the variant cover. We've got Krypton biting this tentacled creature on one of its tentacles, and Supergirl punching one of its two heads. I have no idea if that creature is actually in this issue. But if it is, I'm looking forward to see what goes down in that fight. Symbiote Spider-Man, or Symbiote? However they pronounce it in Venom, it is incorrect. And I think I'm pronouncing it the same way that they do in that movie. But I'm sorry about that. I still like that version of Spider-Man. The Unstoppable Wasp, issue number 7. We have her fighting Winter Soldier right there on the cover. I believe that's him. That should be pretty cool. Wonder Twins, issue number 4. Form of a Cold Shower. As we see some romance is blooming in the worst state ever, too, actually. I'm excited for that. I still haven't read issue number 3, which is a betrayal of my professed love of this comic, that I still haven't read issue number 3 before issue number 4 arrived. And then we have Detective Comics issue 1003. This cover is awesome, and I'm assuming that it is half of something that comes together with the next issue to make a full thing. I'm just skipping forward here. Did I ask to get... I think I asked to get Last Night on Earth. We got a preview of that there at the end. The Final Days of the Dark Knight. 3 48-page prestige format issues. I believe I did ask for that. Do we have a preview of the next issue? Of the next issue's cover. Let's see. I guess they don't. But I imagine it really looks, because we have half faces on the right side of the cover, that it will complete an image with the next issue. Unless it's a variant C, but I didn't see another variant on the shelf there, so I don't know. And that's it. What is that, like 18 comics and way more than 18 minutes, double of 18 minutes. And barely half of that was about the actual comics. But I really wanted to share my experience at Arctic Comic Con in Anchorage, Alaska. It was really, really fun. If you have an opportunity to visit Alaska, I say go for Arctic Comic Con, because it's before tourist season, but it's after it's super, super cold and snowy and all that. So it's like right in the perfect zone, apparently. Book ahead of time. So that you know, if you're listening to this without any context of time, which there should be context of time, because I said what day it is at the beginning of this episode, but right at the beginning of May, because it's like the second week of May is when the tourist season starts, I guess. So go the first week of May, and you'll get there before everybody else does. I mean, unless you really want to go see the salmon just swimming in the wrong direction, because I guess that's the fun thing to do when you go up there. I don't know. That doesn't really appeal to me that much, especially if you have to go out into the wilderness to find it, whatever. Oh, the tour that the guy was saying, it was like to a wildlife refuge, and then like saying all this other stuff, that you stop in this town and do all these other things. And I don't know. It sounded fun, but like it would end up just, it was just me hiring a driver to take me out to do that, then it's like me hanging out with this guy for just this guy. Yeah, it's just me and this guy for a whole day, and that does not. That's no good. I am not a fan of that. So if I got my own car, and even if it was just by myself, that might be treacherous. I don't know. Maybe that's asking for trouble. Just ice road trucker time up there. Not that time of year. That'd be silly. Let's see. I gotta just sit down and read a whole bunch of these comics, get caught up on some stuff. What was I reading? It was shoot. I meant to read some more while I was doing something. When I went to Las Vegas, I read most of Mother is Coming, the Foxtrot comic, and I actually quoted one of the comics to the lady in the booth next to me, because she was talking about how she makes mobiles out of sticks. Like, the stuff that she makes is just sticks that she finds, which, I mean, she like coats them in like varnish or something. I don't know. But she said, I was making a mobile out of this one. And I was like, oh, that reminds me of this Foxtrot comic I read, is that they have a sign that says free snowmobiles. And one says to the other, oh, why do people just leave as soon as they stop? And then they said, well, maybe, I forget what the response was, but it was mobiles. It was like sticks with snowballs on the ends of them, hung on strings. So they're snowmobiles. And I guess my explanation of the comic was good, I guess. I don't know. I think she laughed. Whatever. That's not my job to make the person in the booth next to me laugh. But I'll try anyway. Like once. I'll try one time. And if it's successful, great. If it's not, too bad. That's the only time I'm trying. I think that's about it. I'm looking to get caught up on Game of Thrones. No, I'm not. There's only 2 episodes left there, and the second last episode is in like 3 days. There would absolutely be no way for me to get caught up on that. So it's like you know what? I'll watch it eventually sometime. I have the first 4 seasons on 5 seasons on disc. I'll get the other 6. Well, the other 3. I mean, I have HBO Go, so I just watch it whenever anyway. But I guess there's been lots of talk about it. That's been very good. But then I don't know if it's very bad. But it's like they're saying how this week's episode was like so different from the last week's. Like the reactions were like complete opposites or something. Like it was bad or something. And then there was like a coffee cup that was left in one of the shots. That was a whole big deal everyone was making about it. And I was sitting here thinking, like, okay, it's a TV show made by humans that live in the actual world. Mistakes happen. It's not like we caught them in the act of faking it. Oh my God, there's a coffee cup. It's ruined. I don't know if anybody's reaction was like that. I think everybody just thought it was very funny. I hope most everybody who talked about it just thought it was very funny. I guess a spoiler, kind of a spoiler because the person who's in that shot, I think it's safe to assume hasn't died yet up to that point. So I guess I'm spoiled as far as that. So I think that's about enough for this episode because I still have this week's wrestling episode. I'm going to record about everything from this week all in one big episode, just like this one, I guess. But I'll post that. I'll wait a little while to post that because I also have to talk about this week's episode of Survivor and The Amazing Race. Both episodes were fantastic. I absolutely loved both of these shows. The Amazing Race is so good. I've missed it so much. Oh my God. I forget about it. Only having the one season per year is just has messed me up. It's made me forget how much I freaking love this show. It's so good. And Survivor is so good this season. Oh, they're great. Go watch those shows. Forget Game of Thrones. Go watch Survivor and The Amazing Race. They're so good. I'm gonna record. I have to take a break because my voice probably sounds different than it did at the beginning of this episode. So that's it for now. Tweet me at TIW Podcast, all that stuff. Subscribe, whatever. I'll see you next time. Stay safe out there, super friends. This has been TIW Podcast. Bye.